Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings upon everyone. We apologize for the delay. We had some technical difficulties, but nevertheless, Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this beautiful opportunity for granting us such a thing as the internet so we can connect with each other. And in times like this, we can then really feel that we are really blessed to have such a connection. So, welcoming everybody to the Ansari Holistic Healing Institute, our Health and Wellness Challenge. We've been going through a series over the past few months, doing our best to support each one of us, including ourselves, to live a healthier and better version of ourselves, better connected to Source, our creator of the universe, and living healthy physically, mentally, emotionally as well. Today we have a very special guest, and her name is Maryam Bodhanya, and she will be speaking about motherhood and mental wellness. And I think this is something that all mothers or all people want to understand how it is to be able to maintain our mental well-being in motherhood. Maryam Bodhanya is a speech language therapist by profession, and she entered the world of academia in the field of health as a means to widen her horizons in the health field. She completed her Master of Arts degree as part of the esteemed health program at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. She has excelled academically in both her chosen fields by winning Best Undergraduate Research for Speech Language Therapy as well as Best Research Presentation by the GRH UKZN program at Stellenbosch University. She has also presented at the South African Neurodevelopmental Therapy Association Congress, and she was the chairperson of a non-profit organization titled AYC and has been part of many active participant in many of the projects of the Ansari Holistic Healing Institute. She has experience running a support group for depression and anxiety, and she has a passion for working with children and has worked in both mainstream and special schools. She has also worked as a neurological rehabilitation center, and the best of all, she is a mom with a 1-year-old son and a first-time mom. So welcome, Maryam. Really happy to see you here and join us today. Thank you so much for taking time out.
Alaikum salam and good evening to one and all. Thank you for having me. Quite excited about this talk. So thank you for that introduction. I just like to make a disclaimer before I start that I'm not a qualified mental health practitioner. This talk is based more on experiential knowledge and being a support group leader and attending courses, but I will always recommend that if you feel like you do need mental health support, that you do access a qualified health practitioner for that.
Thank you so much, Maryam. Yes, again, to remind all our viewers and all those who listen to all our talks, please, we are here to support you. We are not here to diagnose or to create, techniques and tell you that this is it, you need to go to your health profession. So thank you for that. So Maryam, looking at today, motherhood and mental well-being, how would you define that and how would you explain or in fact share with us your experience?
So although the talk or the focus is on mental well-being, I don't think that it can be looked at in isolation. I think we have to actually look at the 4 aspects together, which is the physical, the spiritual, the mental, and the emotional, together, because in order to have a balance and to have a good mental well-being, you need to have all of these aspects attended to. So scientifically, we know that we have this physical body, but we also know that we have this bioelectric magnetic field around our body. And so we have access to a lot more than just the physical. And then this brings me to the spiritual part, which I feel is important for a lot of people to help them maintain mental well-being. So for me, I find that it's so amazing that in the very moment of conception, there is light that emanates. And this is what happened when the universe was created, where there was also light that emanated. And this in itself is such a miracle to see these signs of what a beautiful thing it is to be able to have the opportunity to be a mother and to go through this process. So for me, the spiritual is really important when you look at it from the very beginning. And also the Arabic word for womb is raham, which links to the word rahim, which means mercy. So from the very beginning, our creator knows that it's going to be difficult, and he's providing mercy, because I think that motherhood is one of the most difficult things that is yeah, it's something to be experienced. So it's such a comfort to know that from the beginning there is that mercy from that connection. And for me, there is comfort through connection. I'm very grateful for that. It's an important part of my own mental well-being. So that's part of the spiritual. And then there's also a lot of talk about mother's intuition. I'll be honest, I struggled a bit with that. Didn't take to it, very quickly or easily. I have a questioning, sometimes a doubting mind. I need reassurance, and I need something concrete to help me make some decisions. So what I found really helped was the AHHI beginners course, because I learned tools that were actually concrete things that would help me and that I could use guided with the gut feelings or the instincts that I had. And I felt empowered with these tools that could help me and my family. I think there's a lot of content from the AHHI practitioners that is really valuable that can be accessed from this course. So I would recommend that people definitely check this out. Okay.
Fantastic. So when Maryam is speaking about his Ansari Holistic Healing Institute has presented a course, which is the beginner's course to understanding the basis of healing. And this course, Maryam is explaining to us that it does make us understand that the connection to our creator is the very source of beginning of health and well-being. So thank you for that, Maryam. We will share the link below on the YouTube channel as well. So please look out for that.
So the next aspect that I'd like to cover is physical, which I think a lot of people focus on when you're going through pregnancy and motherhood, and it brings about a lot of changes. There's a lot of stress. There's so much going on. There's hormones, there's body changes, there's hair loss, there's cognitive challenges, there's that mom brain. And you're not the same person that you were before. And it's hard because you have to wrestle with this, your very identity now being challenged. Like, who am I now? I feel like I'm only a mom. I feel like this is all that I'm doing. I don't feel like myself anymore. And I think it's also hard because there's a lot of societal pressure about the way we're supposed to look and the things that we're supposed to do. And it can put a lot of stress. And I find that that's a lot of things that moms that I've spoken to struggle with after having a baby. And it puts a lot of, it definitely affects your mental state. And I find it can be quite difficult. So I think that something I should have done when I was pregnant was actually make the physical one of the aspects that was a focus, because I had a nutritional assessment done only when my baby was 6 months old, and it was more for him. And I went to Sadia Ghoor and the late Fazil Ghoor, may Allah bless him, and they did a nutritional assessment for Adam, but they also did one for me because they understood the importance of that connection between mother and baby. And after having done this nutritional assessment, I found that there were so many explanations for why I was feeling the way that I was. It wasn't just okay, yes, it was hormones and all of that, but it wasn't only that. There were so many underlying things. And they gave me a really, really good plan that helped address all of that. And in turn, it helped with my mood. And I felt a lot happier. I felt a lot less anxious. It was, it was such a important experience that I had. And I'm very grateful for that. And I would recommend that if you are going through pregnancy, that start then, go and see what your body needs for that time, because you're providing this habitat or the home for your baby, but you also got to make sure that you're okay. So do that for yourself and for your child. So yeah, nutritional assessments and looking at nutrition, that's very important. I would also, one of the things that I took away from that was also a good probiotic makes a world of difference, because your gut is also, it also affects your emotions. So if your gut is not balanced, it's going to affect the way that you feel. So that's very important. And once I was in a probiotic and my baby was in a probiotic, I also saw quite a good difference. So that was quite helpful. Yeah, another aspect of the physical is movement. And I'm not saying specifically here exercise, I'm saying movement because sometimes it's not easy to go out and do exercise. Sometimes you're in a situation where you're unable to, you're recovering from the birth, and there's a lot of other, things that could complicate it. And I think if we shift away from I have to do exercise, I have to do this, and move it more towards movement. So it can be things like going for a walk in nature, or it could be a little dance party with your baby, or doing some relaxation, some yoga, or just, any sort of movement. I think that really helps with the physical side of things. And then in turn, it improves your mental health because you're releasing endorphins. And it's important that you do some sort of movement to help your body. I would definitely recommend that. But do your best, and don't let anyone make you feel bad for not doing, for feeling like you're not doing enough. Because I know personally, you're already feeling so much of mom guilt internally coming from yourself. The last thing you need is to be listening to other people who are then adding to that. So just try and do your best, and hopefully it will be okay. And I think in terms of then looking at your identity and how you look, if that's something that becomes a stress for you, then try to start embracing this transformation. It's like the 2.0 version of you. Yes, you may not be the same as you were before, but there's a lot of things that you're now able to do that you could never do before. And you should feel proud for that and feel it's an accomplishment, So start re-looking at this whole identity and the physical sort of things. Try to reframe that, and it will help a lot with the mental well-being. Another thing that I know is not easy to do is to sleep. So,
Yes.
so I would suggest that, to be honest, really your sleep is linked to your baby's sleep. Okay, that's just how it's going to be. So I would suggest that you try to, as far as possible, set up a good sleep routine for your baby from the outset. I didn't do this. I tried, but it didn't end up working. And
Yes.
only later on did I start the process. And I did. I looked at the different sleep training methods like the Ferber and the Kite Out. It just didn't resonate with me. And I read so many articles, and it was like, I can't do this. I want him to sleep, but I would rather sacrifice my own sleep than let him go through that, But everybody's different, and I have no judgment, because if it worked for other people, then that's good. It just didn't work for me. So I came up with, you know, my own sort of method that is in the research phase right now, because it's sort of working, but it needs some fine tuning. But it definitely does help, because when your baby is on a good sleep routine, then you ensure that you also have a good sleeping routine. And so, you know, there's a great link between sleep and mental health. And if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to be able to feel okay. So I think it's important that you try, if it's for you, to try to get baby into a good sleeping routine. And then also, when it comes to sleep, don't let society pressure you and tell you that you should be doing it all. No. If you need a few hours to sleep and you have a good support system, then sleep and recharge and ask for that help. And don't be ashamed to do that. You don't have to be with your baby 24 hours a day. There's no I don't think that that's how it should be. Because if you are doing that and you're not feeling okay, then it's going to be worse, because that time that you're spending with your child is not going to be, you know, it's not going to be a good time. So you'd rather take those few hours, sleep and recharge, and then you can have quality time with your child. That's just my view. And I'm grateful that I've had that support and I've been able to do that. And it really, really does help to have sleep. So that's the physical part. And then I'd like to move on to, so I've talked a little bit about spiritual, I've talked a little bit about physical, and then the emotional aspects, I would say it's about support. Okay. If you are prone to having mental health issues, then you should reach out to a professional or a therapist that you are comfortable with. It's not always easy to find somebody that will take into account all of the things that you need. But for me personally, I do have a therapist because I am prone to mental health issues, and I recognize that I need that support sometimes. So that was an important part of my own journey in getting emotional support that really, really helped me deal with a lot of things that I needed to. And then there's also these online communities. Join a mom's group, because I found that a lot of moms are actually going through what you are going through. If it may feel like I'm alone and I'm doing this, and I only feel like nobody feels like me, and you know, you sort of go into that pattern of thinking. But if you start chatting to other moms, you'll find that there's a lot of similar experiences, and there's a lot of support there, and there's a lot of help there. And I've a lot of the times I've been able to like message on a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group, and I've gotten some really, really good answers that help me quite a bit, and takes away a lot of that stress of deciding what to do when you're in a particular situation. So I found that really helped. And then speak to family and friends. Like Rubina has helped me so much and still does from the very beginning. So I'll just share quickly that Adam was born during lockdown. So he was born in April of last year, and so we all assumed that my mom would be able to come and help out, and that we'd have all of these things, that it would be okay. And none of that happened. Nothing went according to plan. So Adam was born, and all the, you know, there was restrictions on the clothing and baby clothing in the shops, and I had to, like, I just remember coming home from the hospital, and like 2 days after I was like washing baby clothes and like doing this and doing that. And Rubina was there like almost every day to help me, because my family couldn't be there, and she really, really supported me, and I'm so grateful for that, because I don't think that we could have done it without Rubina. So it helps, and you still help me. She still helped me even up to now. And so have somebody that you can talk to, have somebody that you resonate with, who's going to help you in this journey and help you be a mom. And it really does take a village, I feel, to raise a baby. I think that's true. I don't think that you should try to do it by yourself if you have the opportunity to have that support. So yeah, and then there's a lot of other tools that can help you that can help you with your emotions, because it is important that you regulate your emotions, because it's true that your child does pick up on what you are feeling. So if you are anxious and if you are stressed out, that your child is going to feel that. And sometimes it may not manifest in anxiety from the baby, like in the way that you think. It may manifest in physical ways. Your baby may get more sick more often or prone to certain things. And my mom told me something, because my parents have also been really, really supportive in my whole motherhood journey. And my mom told me something really interesting. She said, a happy mommy has a happy baby. So when I first heard this, I was a bit skeptical, because just from my own personality, I'm not always happy. Without being a mother, just on my own, I'm not always happy. So I was like, well, I'm not even happy all the time anyway. Like this. But then I started thinking about it and I understood what she meant. And I sort of rephrased that within myself to say that, okay, if I'm feeling okay, so okay, mommy, then okay, baby. And I started thinking about this in a more mindful way. And so when I did feel those times of like severe anxiety or not feeling okay, I tried as far as possible to take a moment by myself to go and rebalance and bring myself back to that he wouldn't sort of feel though that anxiety coming from me, because he doesn't know that I'm not anxious because of him. It could be other things. All he knows is this is my mommy and she's feeling like this and I don't know why and I'm feeling like this. So so I kept thinking about that. So okay baby and okay is okay mommy is there's a okay baby. Then it sort of got switched for me that now if he's okay, I'm okay. So now it's okay, baby, okay, mommy. So it's sort of like it switched for me a bit. And I do see that a lot of the times nowadays, my mental well-being when it comes to a lot of anxiety and stress about motherhood is whether he's fine or he's happy or he's feeling okay or that sort of thing. Um, and so I just try to do my best. And I do mess up. And I think it's human to do that. I'm not always going to make the right decisions, but I'm just trying my best. And there was a picture that I saw on Facebook that was really nice. It showed a graph that sort of went like this, and it said, doing my best. And at different points, it was like there was 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here. And it showed that every day doing your best doesn't have to be the same as the day before. And that is a good reminder that that's all we can do is just to try doing our best, and it will vary day to day, and that's absolutely fine. So let's try not to feel too much of mom guilt and give ourselves a break sometimes.
Alhamdulillah,
So
beautiful advice, yes.
and then just to conclude a little bit in terms of some other tools that you can look at. So there's a lot of resources online. I mean, like you said, the internet is such a blessing nowadays. And that you just got to find the tools that are going to resonate with you and help you. So I would say start off with identifying your own emotional state, your triggers, what makes you feel anxious, identify the situations where you feel more anxious, and sort of like start actually like writing them down so you can identify that this makes me a little bit anxious, this makes me a little bit stressed when it comes to motherhood or whatever it is, and start being more mindful of that, and then find the techniques that work for you. So there's lots of different techniques. I mean, there's there's breathing techniques, and there's mindfulness, and there's meditation, and there's grounding. And AHHI has a lot of resources on that as well, and you can have a look at the website www.ahhi.online. And sometimes you need an outlet. Sometimes it's exercise. Sometimes it's punching a pillow. You got to find what's going to work for you, and it's different for everyone. So I think, but it is important to recognize that you do need some sort of emotional tool or technique to help with that, and then find what works for you.
Alhamdulillah, very, very beautifully shared with us, Maryam. And I love how Maryam has taken the motherhood and mental well-being and saying, you know what, this may be a title, but it's not just the title, it's about living that holistic, being, acknowledging and embracing the holistic part of ourselves. We are whole beings. We need our spiritual connection with the Almighty. We need that physical attention that the body needs. We need the emotional support. We need all of this to be able to say, you know what, I am feeling okay. My mental well being is to a point where I can actually feel balanced. And all of this together makes us whole. So I really appreciate that, Maryam. We Please, those of you who have joined us, please, your questions. Maryam is waiting for your questions. You're welcome to send your questions in, and she will answer them. Also, while you're sending in your questions, I just wanted to again repeat what Maryam said. This is absolutely, 100% correct. A mother will only do her best, and every day the best is different, and that's okay. So please remember that, because it's so important to embrace that imperfection within us. Striving for perfection is not a human trait. It's not a human trait. This is not something that we are meant to strive for perfection. No, because perfection belongs to the Almighty. We are human, we have imperfections, but we are always able to become better version of ourselves. And that's what the Ansari Holistic Healing Institute advocates. This is what the cause brings us understanding that we are whole beings. We constitute of the different parts that we are made up of is important. We need to look at that and focus on that to be able to heal completely, inshallah. So while waiting for your questions, anything else, Maryam, that you'd like to add?
No, no, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Not too difficult questions. It's already almost my bedtime.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you so much, no, we understand that. So we do have the live question email address. You're most welcome to ask us questions there if you don't have anything right now. I'd like to share a poem with you while people are, if or they do have any questions. And this was shared to me by my friend, Leah Halls, and it was given to her by her daughter. And this is what she says. Her name is Catherine Detroit, and this is what she says. She says, the only part you are allowed to dislike about children is that they eventually grow into being adults. And if you can nurture a child to recognize and hold onto their innate nature of childlike being, even when they begin to grow, then you have created a gift for this world. They are perfect beings that become tainted by an external urging to release and move away from their childlike nature. This nature is what can become an unstoppable force. And if it is cared for, cherished, and challenged to exist, it can be an unstoppable force of kindness and strength. And this is by Catherine Dutoy. A beautiful poem reminding us as adults that we can have this childlike nature within us that we need to nurture and go into nature and appreciate it like how a child would look at it. Appreciate all the gifts that the Almighty has given to us so that we become these grateful beings and live in this joy, because gratitude is definitely, transforms into joy. Living in gratitude is only the most beautiful place that we can be. So thank you very much. And Maryam, until next time, we really appreciate your contribution and sharing. And we pray that people are able to understand and then take what you shared with them and better their lives, inshallah, with the knowledge that you shared. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you, viewers. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace and blessings upon everyone.
Would you like to learn how to connect with Allah through His beautiful names? Would you like to learn how to heal using natural remedies and modalities? Would you like to cleanse yourself from any negativity, black magic and nazar? If you answered yes to these questions, then the Ansari Holistic Beginners Healing course is for you. Empower yourself to healing, add this knowledge to your current practice, or let it be a new beginning of hope for you. WhatsApp +27 82357 8666.